Goeiedag and welcome to my shop tour. So I recently started this YouTube channel and I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys a shop tour. So in terms of space, this is a very small shop. This is less than a one-car garage. But I used a couple of neat tricks to maximize the space that may be useful for you guys, so you can cramp as many tools as you possibly can in your workshop. Alright, let me show you around. So this is a Paul K style workbench, meaning it is a torsion box design with a very rigid and flat work surface. The work surface is an MDF slab with an MFT style hole pattern on it. This is great for clamping to the work surface and working exactly parallel. There's a lot of companies nowadays that make great accessories to work with this table system. This is my quick adjust vise. It quickly changes from one clamping distance to another. If you're in the market for a vise, make sure it has this feature. That will save you a lot of unnecessary crank spinning, trust me. On the bottom is just one of the many places in this shop where I store my, junk. This drawer is mostly filled with mechanical tools rather than woodworking tools. The drawers also have no sliders and require motivation to close. This is where I store my Festool clamps and my micro jig clamps. And in the space below the surface of the work table, I awkwardly stuff all my smaller one-handed clamps. On the other side I store offcuts from current projects and some degreasing chemicals. Now this caster system is extremely cheap and very functional. It is actually just two hinged planks with two wheels on them, and you just insert these two L-shaped beams and crank the entire workbench up on its wheels. Simple but very effective. This is where I store my scribing and measuring tools. I love having all of them in reach of my work surface. It also opens up so I can store more tools inside. This triples my wall real estate, because wall real estate is like in short supply in my workshop. As you can see, I'm still in the process of filling it up. I design and 3D print magnetic holders for all my tools, but it takes a lot of time to design and print them, so it will slowly fill up. Above my door I have a row of French cleat filled with the most used tools in my shop. They are a bit high up, but like most Dutch people I'm pretty tall, so it's fine. Down here another stretch of French cleats that holds tools like my disc sander here. And above the window another piece of French cleat which is currently not in use. Down here is where my compressor lives, next to some Festool tools and some sorting boxes that hold nuts and bolts and screws, and of course my shop vac. This is my jet belt sander and I love it. But unfortunately in this setup I can't really use the disc sander on the side. It is just too awkward of a corner. But luckily I also have the Proxon disc sander you just saw. Maybe I can put a grinding stone on it, I haven't quite figured it out yet. This is Mace doing a cameo because, well, cat. And this is my Nova Viking drill press. It is a direct drive drill press, meaning the motor is directly attached to the chuck. This gives some interesting options like tapping. It has a laser, a lamp, and the speed is set digitally, so no messing with gears or belts. You can also set a digital depth stop with this drill press. The drill press table is sometimes in the way when you're trying to grind something at the belt sander, so occasionally I need to swing it out of the way. I also made this fold down drawer to store my most used drill bits, but it still needs some organizing. I might put in a Gridfinity system here. The foot of the drill press is hidden inside of the workbench, and to utilize the space around it I made this odd drawer that actually holds quite a few drills and bits. Alright, so this is the Festool Capex 120. You've probably seen it before, as a lot of YouTubers use this same saw. That is because it is strong, accurate and very well built. It is unfortunately very expensive, but it's well worth the money. On the left side is my Incra shop stop system. This system guarantees returning accurately to a specific setting. And of course you can just flip it out of the way when it's not needed. I don't have much in or out feed space to the sides of the miter saw. This means I am limited to roughly 165 centimeters on both sides of my miter saw. Here we have my router table. It is a JESM router lift and a JESM fence, both really nice quality. The rest of this table I have built myself. The motor is an AEG spindle motor and I made an extended on-off switch for it. I connect my shop vac here, and on the sides I made two levers that connect to valves that either open or close the bottom or top part of the dust collection to maximize airflow. On the bottom I store offcuts and small bits of wood. In this drawer I store my spring clamps. In this drawer I store nothing because I forgot it existed. This one holds my featherboards. This is where most of my router bits live. Can you guess my favorite brand? In this drawer I store my table inserts and some safety accessories. And the last drawer holds some collets and setup tools for the router table. My router table has even worse in and out feed space. But it's also on wheels, so I can rearrange some of my shop furniture to make it work. These cabinets come from the kitchen in our old house and I'm so glad we saved them. They're from IKEA, but they're simple and very effective. The cabinets are still a bit of a mess since many tools still need to get a spot on my tool wall. But like I said, it takes a lot of time to draw the parts and print them. This is where the Festool battery tools live and their accessories above. Also cat treats, because reasons. Yeah, I'm both professional and volunteer firefighter and sometimes I get interrupted. This is me bumping my camera. And this is me locking the door.
One eternity later.
And this is my gimbal giving up for the day. Let's try that again. This is where I store my sanding paper and filming equipment. This way of storing sanding discs is great, by the way. It takes up little space inside the cabinets and is easily reachable and very organized. The last cabinet holds epoxy, tape and pocket hole fasteners. On the back wall of my shop I have this aluminum rail. It holds my 4-way panel clamping system. I simply slide the clamps out of hiding and set them up. They have a lot of adjustment reach and a great deal of clamping pressure. They apply pressure on 4 sides, automatically aligning the boards with each other. This works great. The rest of the wall is fitted with French cleat strips. Nothing fancy here except for this part. I inserted M8 threaded nuts from the backside. This way I can secure some tools to the wall with a knob. I applied this to this Krag pocket hole jig and also to my Proxon disc sander. It makes them very secure and it also saves space on your workbench. My table saw is a Festool CS70. Overall it is okay, but I've kind of outgrown it at this point. I just don't have space for a bigger one. Underneath is just more wood storage. Yeah, it's everywhere. I can saw up to 66 centimeters wide, but I'm once again quite limited in my in and out feet space. I have about 90 centimeters to work with in terms of depth. And if I need more, I just have to move the table saw backwards. The workbench, miter station, router table and CNC are all built to the same height, by the way. On the left side I am also limited to about 1 meter. And if I need to work on bigger sheets, there's always Plan B. So, this is my homemade CNC. I built this guided by an open source portal router project from a Dutch CNC forum. It has high quality linear rails and ball screws on all axes, and all the motors are closed loop stepper motors. The spindle has 2.2 kilowatts of power. It has a 1 by 1 meter cutting area and it comes with a "don't forget we need food" alarm. This is the controller box I built to run it all. It has an Eating CNC 760 card with a lot of expansion options still unused. And this is what the Eating CNC interface looks like. Here I store my CNC router bits and tools and keyboard. The camera lets me babysit the CNC from inside the house. And below my CNC is, you guessed it, more wood storage. I also hide the hose from my dust collector here when I'm not cleaning the shop. The dust collection hose goes up the wall and to the main ducts. There is a lot of valves to maximize airflow to the tool that I'm currently using, and there is also a few ports that are not yet in use. This is my second camera. It functions as a security camera and also to film everything if I forget to not turn on my camera, just so I don't miss footage. Behind the wall is a dust collector and a dust separator. It is also a great hiding spot for acute camera shyness, by the way. I also extended the on-off button to be within the workshop. This is my record power bandsaw. I believe it's also sold under the Raycon brand. It has a 28 centimeters cutting height and a maximum cutting depth of about 35 centimeters. And here we have my Makita planer, which is quite nice for its size. It would be better if it was on a shop cart, but I just don't have the space for it in the shop. On the other hand, it doesn't take a lot of time to set it up either. This is my breaker box and charging station. I 3D printed battery holders and mounted all my chargers here. And if you follow the yellow chain up to the ceiling, you will find my paper backdrop. I can just lower it down on the workbench to take nice beauty shots for this channel. So this is another great space saver. I have some height in my shop, so I use it for, yes, more wood storage. It has space for boards on the sides, and on the front side it has space for smaller sheet goods. Next up is an air filtration unit to protect my lungs and a retractable air hose, which is really nice to have. I mostly use it to quickly clean up the CNC, table saw, workbenches or my viewers. Gotcha. So, this was my shop tour. I hope you saw something you can use in your own shop, and if you liked it, consider subscribing to my channel or give the video a thumbs up to let the algorithm know it is the good stuff. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Bye!